Greetings and welcome to Chant a Psalm a Day. Today's psalm, oh my gosh, it's rocking, it's rocking, it's rocking. Let's get started. Psalm 107. Psalm 107 today. Today's psalm is brought to you by the verse of the day. Luke chapter 12, verse 6 to 7, the verse of the day. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies? Yet not one of them is forgotten by righteousness. Indeed, the very hairs of thy head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in the sight of what is right. Selah and Selah again. This was the verse today. And the verse today came from Luke 12, 6 to 7. Don't be afraid. Okay, whenever you're afraid or feeling anxious or depressed, remember verse 7 in Luke chapter 12, verse 6 to 7, that speaks about the sparrows, and it speaks about every hair on your crown is numbered. So don't be afraid, because you are worth more than many sparrows. So as we translate the psalm, know that you are worth more than many sparrows. Okay, the knowledge of that gives you a sense of you're gonna be okay. It is going to be well with you because you are not afraid. You are holding yourself in the bosom of Abraham. Okay, and when we look at the 5 sparrows and the question of are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies, yet not one of them is forgotten by our Savior and our Almighty, that is righteousness. I call God, Lord Jesus, Jehovah, righteousness, mercy, compassion, love, and kindness, and humility, integrity, and honesty. That is what those labels mean. When you're calling God, when you're calling Lord, even when you're calling Jesus, you are calling the names of goodness, mercy, compassion. Blessed rise. My nephew is I'm chanting a psalm. So I go live. I got some people on here listening. Oh, okay. You good? Yes. How you rest?
I rest good.
Good. You got your coffee?
This is lemongrass.
Lemongrass. I have some lemongrass tea I'm going to be making. So, we're going to chant the psalm. Let's go. We just did the verse of the day. So let's go to the psalm. Psalm 107. The title of this psalm is Let the Redeemed of Righteousness Speak. Let the redeemed of righteousness speak. Hi, Toby. I will tell my nephew you said hi. He's not on camera. He's having his tea, which I'm going to go and get my tea. Just one momento.
I said good morning.
I'll tell him. I got some, where's my cup? Ah, my cup. My teacup. Oh no. Sad. Where is my cup? It was in the Jeep. I took it out. I know I can't find it. And I need my tea. Huh? Where is it, you said? Yeah, let me look in there. Okay, everybody. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. My apologies for that interruption. Uh I had to go get my hot tea. So, we're going to get started and return to where we left off with the Psalm 107. And Psalm 107, let's see, is talking about the redeemed. So let the redeemed of righteousness speak in that way. All right? This psalm is the beginning of book 5 of the Psalms. It's 107, and it has about 43 verses. So we will look at the first 3 verses, and the first 3 verses begins with give thanks. Give thanks to righteousness, for righteousness is good. For righteousness' steadfast love endures for all time to come. So we know that the steadfast love does not stop. We as humans, we can go in and out of feelings a lot, right? However, with righteousness, that steadfast love is always present. It's always there for you to tap into and take and use it, spread it around, share it, even though you may be feeling sad or depressed or have anxiety, or you may be in pain, your heart may be broken. However, righteousness is still right there. It does not disappear. So the redeemed of righteousness speaks in this way, and whom righteousness has redeemed from trouble. So all the trouble that you may feel you're in, you have an advocate, you have a redeemer, and that redeemer will save you from that trouble. So, and in verse 3, we see how it's gathered in from the lands, from the east, from the west, from the north, from the south. So we have we have points of direction that are being expressed in verse 3 when it comes to gathering in the lands. And the lands are east, west, north, south. This is what is the directional happening. Let me get my fan in here. It is hot already, y'all. So verse 4 now, verse 4 talks about wandering. So some people wandered in the desert wastes, finding no way to a city to live in. Hungry, thirsty, their life fainted within them. Then these wanderers cried to the Most High in their trouble, and the Most High delivered them from their distress. The Most High, that is righteousness, led the wanderers through a straight way, till the wanderers reached a place to dwell in. Yes. So in verse 8, it's talking about what these wanderers are supposed to do. Let these wanderers thank righteousness, for righteousness is steadfast love, for righteousness is wondrous works to the children of humanity. And for righteousness satisfies the longing life, those that are longing, and the hungry life. Righteousness fills with goodness. So satisfaction of the longing life, those who are longing, who feel alone, who feel abandoned, who feel stabbed in the back, who feel like they've been thrown away or discarded as trash, they are going to be filled with good things. Okay? They're going to be filled with good things. In verse 10, some of the wanderers sat in darkness and in the shadow of death, prisoners in affliction and in irons. For these that sit in darkness, these wanderers, had rebelled against the words of the Most High, of righteousness. Now, when you rebel against words of righteousness, spurning the teachings of the Most High, that is cause for pause. Verse 12, so the bowing of ironite hearts down with hard labor. This is what happened because we rebelled against the words of righteousness. Okay, we weren't honest, we weren't forthcoming, we didn't have integrity, we did not look at the righteous road. Okay, and when we don't do that, you're going to have hard labor. You're going to fall down with none to help. Verse 13, and there was a cry to righteousness in their trouble, and righteousness delivered them from their distress. Righteousness brought them out of depression and the shadow of death and burst their bonds apart. So there were no chains holding. I ask for release. Anybody who is in bondage out there, I ask in the name of righteousness for release. Release people from bondage, emotional, physical, intellectual, social bondage where people are trying to isolate folks. I rebuke that in the name of righteousness and goodness and mercy and love. Because in verse 15, we want to give thanks. Let I give thanks to righteousness for the steadfast love and for wondrous works to the children of humanity. For righteousness shatters the doors of bronze and cuts into the bars of iron. This is what righteousness can do now. So when you step into that place of goodness and righteousness and mercy, you got the power, you got the strength to conquer everything that is troubling you. So verse 17, some were fools through their sinful ways, and because of their sinful ways, they suffered affliction. Okay? Not because of anything else, but because they were not honest, they had sinful agendas. And they suffered because of that. And any kind of food, they loathed it, and they drew near to the gates of death. Because drawing near to the gates of death, you're in the hospital hooked up to machines, or something is happening to you, right? And then when they cried to righteousness in their trouble, righteousness delivered from distress. And righteousness sent out a word. Now this is what's important. Words are powerful. Words have healing strength. So righteousness sent out righteous words, and healed folks and delivered folks from destruction just with the word. That's why you got to be careful the words you speak. You got to be careful the words that you present. You got to be careful about the words you use in your names, your usernames, and all of these things. So, and let the offerings of thanksgiving to tell of the goodness of in songs of joy. So when you choose happy, you choose joy. You're choosing a joy. So you're going to talk about, and you're going to offer sacrifices. Okay? You may be away from your loved one. They may be working. You may be missing them, but that long suffering holds you together solidly. And that sacrifice is thanksgiving, is of thanksgiving. You're giving thanks for the person that's in your life. You're giving thanks even though they're far away. And telling of these works in songs of joy. So that's why we hear songs of joy. So verse 23, some went down to the sea in ships, doing business in the great waters, and seeing the works of righteousness. Righteous works in the deep. For righteousness commanded and raised the stormy wind that lifted up the waves of the sea, and mounted up to heaven, going down to the depths, and a courage melted away these evil plights. Okay? In verse 27, ones reeled and staggered as drunken people and were at their wits' end. And they cried. They cried to righteousness in that when they're in trouble. That's what people do. When they're in trouble, that's when they get down on their knees and start to pray. You got to do that every day, not just when you're in trouble. So in their trouble, they cried, and they were delivered from their distress. The storm got still. The waves of the sea were hushed. They were glad that the waters were quiet, and righteousness brought them to their desired haven. So what do they do now? They give thanks. They thank righteousness for righteousness' steadfast love, for righteousness' wondrous work to the children of humanity. And they will extol in the assembly of the people and give chanting ices to the people to righteousness in the assembly of the elders. So, what does righteousness do? Righteousness turns rivers into a desert, springs of water into thirsty ground, fruitful land into a salty waste, because of the evil of the inhabitants. There's evil inhabitants that are surrounding, and this is why righteousness turns rivers into desert, springs of water into thirsty ground, because the inhabitants are not doing the right thing. So they're not going to benefit from the fruits of what righteousness has to offer. So a fruitful land will be turned into a salty waste because of the evil inhabitants. And these desert into pools of water, parched land into springs of water. So it can be either way. And their righteousness lets the hungry dwell. And the hungry establish a city to live in. Righteousness sows fields and plant vineyards and gets a fruitful yield. Through the bless of righteousness, multiplication is happening, and the livestock does not diminish. So when the livestock are diminished and brought low through oppression, through evil, through sorrow, righteousness pours contempt on princes and makes them wander in trackless wastes. However, righteousness is going to raise up the needy out of affliction. You know, the poor and the needy, they're going to be raised out of affliction, and they're going to make their families like flocks. Okay? The upright see it and are glad, and all wickedness shuts its mouth. Drop the mic. All wickedness must be silent. That's why people who get up in the rise, they don't greet you. They just, walk over you. Because that is lacking. The righteousness is lacking. My nephew woke up. He came. He said greetings. He said good morning. He spoke a word. You speak words of goodness, man. So I'm glad that this is the day righteousness has made. Let us rejoice in this day. This is the day that my dad is going to be memorialized on this day, August 9th. So at the end of the psalm, whoever is wise, let the wise attend to these things. Let the wise be aware of the steadfast love of righteousness. Okay? Selah and Selah again. Let I be aware of the steadfast love of righteousness. Selah and Selah again. Here ends the psalm for today, 107. We rock and earth with this Psalm 107. Let the redeemed of righteousness speak. Selah, Haile, Selassie the first, blessed love, kindness and mercy, goodness and long suffering and forgiveness. Forgiveness is an important thing. It's not for the other person. It's for you to forgive, even though you may feel you didn't do anything incorrectly. You still have to forgive. It's important because the redeemed of righteousness speaks in that way of forgiveness and long suffering. So as we get into the word today for August 9th is to pray for others, to speak to righteousness on the behalf of others. Okay? Speaking to righteousness on the behalf of others. So, enfolding others in the communication with righteousness, I ease troubles and my own. Okay? Communication with righteousness is such a wonderful way to remain mindful of your relationship with righteousness. Communication with righteousness keeps I grounded in righteous truth and rooted in the knowledge that I problems and challenges are temporary and no match for the awesome goodness of righteousness. So, problems, challenges, they're temporary and they're no match for the goodness of God, the goodness of love, the goodness of mercy, righteousness, kindness. These problems and challenges that you are facing are no match for the awesomeness that is righteousness. I may be tempted to think worrisome thoughts when I learn of others' challenges, it bringing my self down and feeling discouraged when I am unable to give them a strength. When I communicate with righteousness on behalf of ones, however, I am sharing the gift of righteous truth and life-affirming energy. Not only does I words of communication to righteousness uplift those for whom I speak, my communication with righteousness on behalf of others also uplifts me too. As I communicate with righteousness, I am affirming the presence of righteousness within all situations, freeing self from worry. Communication with righteousness is way of sharing the love that is of righteousness. That's goodness, mercy, love, kindness, compassion, long suffering. All of that is part of that sharing of that love. Because when you share love and kindness, irregardless of your feelings, you advocate for yourself in terms of when challenges and situations arise, you are going to be lifted up in that space that is righteousness. Because when you share that with others, it returns back to you. What goes around comes right to you when you give it out. Okay? So that's why I tell people, give kindness, give humility, give long suffering, give compassion, especially when someone has lost a loved one. Compassion is needed. Mercy is needed during this time. You don't hostilize or be hostile to a person. You be kind to that person and love. My dad is going to be memorialized today on August 9th in celebration of his life. It's a very beautiful booklet I want to shout out to Llewellyn T. Sewer Jr. for supporting this booklet and giving his uncle that final farewell. It's a beautiful booklet, very beautiful booklet. The tributes are beautiful. Very beautiful tributes to my dad. We also have the Virgin Islands Fire Department sent in a letter. My dad was a fire corporal, retired fire corporal, and he served his country, he served his island, he served his people, he served his family very well. And I miss him. I miss my daddy. So, the word today is supported by Ephesians 3:16. I communicate with righteousness, that according to the riches of righteous glory, righteousness may grant that I and I may be strengthened in I and I inner being with power through righteousness. So I'm asking that everyone, not just for myself, but everyone is strengthened inside their inner being with power through righteousness. Ephesians 3:16. I love that. Ephesians is one of my favorite books, y'all. One of my favorite books. Besides James and, Psalms. So as we finish with our psalm today, as we outro, I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is right, what is good, what is kind, what is compassion, what is forgiveness and long suffering. This has been the word of the day. We want to communicate with righteousness on behalf of others. Yes, thank you, Rob. Yes, I will send a word for you, Rob, that your neck pain that you have is released, that your neck pain goes away, that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is right, kindness, goodness, mercy. The name of Jesus is translated as long suffering, compassion, mercy, kindness. And I ask that all of that releases your neck pain, releases it, and that you may have no more physical problems moving forward in the name of goodness and mercy and love and kindness. That's the Trinity. Three. It's three in one. And out of many, out of one, there's many. So I also have that can help your neck pain. I have a healing oil. This healing oil. Just send me your address and I will send you this healing oil that you can rub on your neck and give you some relief. Because faith without works is nothing. So let's do the work. Let's do the work, Rob. And I will send me your address. You can message me your address. And I will send you one of these liquid gold healing oils. Okay? I have an order that's, these are my orders I'm sending out. Okay, of these oils. This is a patent pending. It's going to be mass distributed. So get it now. Be part of this now. You can go to my website. My website is www.negus, okay? neguseducation.com. And you can send me a message there, or you can message me at 940-222-9336, okay? I use this for my back and for my arm. I broke this arm And I will give you the number again. It's 940-222-9336. And this is called healing oils. It's made naturally. It's called healing oils. You can see that the seeds are in there. This is healing oil. Yep, healing oil. When you rub this on any part of you, your neck, oh my goodness, it's a relief. It's a relief of the pain. I rub it on my back and it's a relief. Oh my goodness, it is the best. So go ahead, put your orders in for this healing oil. My nephew is here and I'm going to get ready to zip out. So thanks everybody. There's my nephew. Yes, I gave him his name, Shamir, and his name, Shamir, is King. It's blessed. So as we outro, we're going to outro with our chant a psalm. Have a blessed day, everyone. Chant a psalm a day. Bless you, Rob. Bless everybody for coming on. Oh, you got your address there? Okay. San Antonio. I'm going to make a note of that right now before I go. Very good. Excellent. Let's see. Rob 17715 Overlook Loop number 12204. San Antonio 78259. Okay, I got your address there, Rob, and we're gonna send that out to you. Okay? Yep. Have a blessed day, everyone.